My name is Max Stein, and I love video games.
I'm the Mega Buck, and I really love video games.
I'm Rafa Boy, and I love video games.
My name's Vinny, and I love video games.
And welcome to the Game Treasure Podcast, where we discuss treasured video games of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Oh, my voice is low today for no reason. This week, we're getting ready for the big game. That's why my voice is low. Apparently, there's a big game this week in the big sports world of games.
Sports ball?
We're getting ready for the big sports ball games with a retro roundtable of hut, Tecmo Bowl, baby. Let's go. A sports game that's actually good.
He's not wrong.
And we're also going to talk a little bit about some of our favorite maybe esports or gaming history moments, right? Any athletic gaming that's ever our favorite athletic gaming.
I'm an elite gaming athlete. Don't
Capital
treat me with that
G.
kind of tone.
You're the best around.
Yeah.
But first, let's start with some news. We actually have quite a bit of news today because the Sony State of Play just happened and there was a bunch of announcements. So I would like to go through some of these bad boys and see how hot and cold we are on a variety of them. For me,
yes.
first one, biggest one, I think, Death Stranding 2,
Hell yeah.
Electric
colon,
Boogaloo.
on the beach.
Oh,
You wish it was
hell
Electric
yeah.
Boogaloo. Did you know that the subtitle is on the beach?
I'm not going to lie. I have not watched that State of Play yet.
On the beach.
Oh, man.
Son of a beach.
Is that a
got
bad
any of you
translation? Is it
guys-
supposed to be on the beach?
On the beach.
On the beach.
So I heard that, no lie, only Kojima could take a recolored Joker and mix it with a C-tier JoJo stand and people be excited for it. But I am all about the JoJo, man. I'm here
Yeah,
for it.
honestly.
This
Oh, boy.
guy is a mad lad. You got the baby with the crying mascara inside the womb, just as the first thing image. Like it's like with it 15 frames in, you got a baby inside of a womb, and you're just like, God, you did it again, you crazy son of a.
You know what's
bitch."
funny about Death Stranding?
Everything.
Drugs are really illegal in Japan. So Kojima's just crazy.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, I don't know
Pushing the
how he
boundaries.
even comes up with some of the stuff he comes up with.
Because he's a fucking legend.
For real.
How's
Love
that
this
feeding
man.
tube up your butt going, Raph?
Speaking of, yeah.
I'm still waiting. I'm anxiously waiting, honestly.
Speaking of the Hideo Kojima feeding tube experience, Hideo Kojima also announced a new tactical stealth espionage game.
Oh, man, I'm excited for
No
that.
way.
Okay,
Called
I'm
not
listening.
Metal Gear.
I'm excited for that.
That's fine. That's
Not
fine.
Metal Gear.
That
What's
means
the
he can
name,
get David Hayter to do the voice.
I mean, honestly, I feel like he could do it because I think David Hayter and Kojima like working together. I think it was just
They
the
love each
Konami
other,
thing
yeah.
that was
Well, remember the last one? It was Kiefer Sutherland, not David Hayter.
Right.
So that was kind of a
Right,
big
right.
Oh
thing.
my
Like,
God,
what the
that's
hell, man?
right. And people, did you know that there's like the sect of people that don't like that game? They think Metal Gear Solid 4 is like not good.
five.
Five.
Oh,
four
David
is
Hayter
Four
did.
is good.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
4 is really good.
Well, there are
Yeah,
people
4
who
is
don't.
good too.
Well, 5 is everyone really
5 is
lauds that game. But
weird.
I was thinking there are people who don't like 4, and I
Oh,
don't.
4 is good.
Cool.
4
I
is
like
a lot
four.
of fan service.
it's-
Like it's
yeah.
a lot
To
of
be wrong.
fan service for sure, but not that kind of fan
Yeah,
service.
It's not
But,
the
like,
best Metal
it's-
Gear game, but it's a Metal
Yeah.
Gear game.
No, I love it. It's good if you're a fan of the series because it wraps up a lot of loose ends and
Yeah,
it,
spoiler, but not spoiler. It ends with 2 old men having a fist fight on top of a robot, and it's fucking cool. Like they're just
Yeah.
slugging it out.
He's
Like,
not wrong.
yeah, it's badass.
And one of the old men is not the actual old man whose body he's
Yeah,
in.
don't
It's
even
different.
try. It's
Yeah.
impossible. It's we don't have time. But the name
try
of the
to
new-
explain les enfants terribles.
the
Yeah, right. Yeah, no shit.
the name of the new tactical stealth espionage game that isn't Metal Gear and can't be Metal Gear and is legally distinct from Metal Gear is called Physint. Physint.
Okay.
The announcement is Hideo Kojima just sitting in his crazy production studio. Just-
Can't wait to make games for you guys.
yeah.
Yeah, for
Oh,
real.
smoking some weed here. I'm gonna go meet
It
Quentin
sounds like-
Tarantino later.
It sounds like a prescription. Prescription. Talk to your doctor and see if prescription Physint is right for you.
If you
Have
experience
Do you suffer
hallucinating,
from ulcerative colitis?
Have you been
My
having
dentist for you.
cold sweat,
Have you been having tactical stealth espionage thoughts?
Have you been
Get
having
Bison today.
too much Kojima ass tube feeding experience? Talk to your doctor to see if Vicent is
There's
right
no
for
such
you.
thing as too much Kojima ass tube
We
feeding.
need to talk. We need to talk about a perfect segue with Hideo Kojima, and that is that we're getting a new I should say a new Silent Hill game shadow dropped at the same time as the state of play. It's called The Short Message or
That's
Short
Oh.
Messages.
The
I
short
played it.
depression.
I played the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Did you?
Did you
Mhm.
really?
Short
Was it
message.
scary?
It is 80% depression, 20% scaries.
Ah.
I got to be honest. Some of that, I don't know if I'd even call it a game. It's more like a living narrative with some gamified elements in it. But oh man,
It's a lot
some
of
the
high school
subject-
bullying, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, dude. There's high school bullying. That's a lot of it. But after that chapter, it's like a 3-chapter game. You get into some subject matter that really like, especially if you're a parent.
Ooh, really?
It's really rough stuff.
I'm sure.
Oof.
Just get ready.
Well, there you go. You got a
That's
little
weird.
bit
It's
of
the
a,
thing they're trying to do now. Like, did any of you guys watch Silent
No
Hill
spoil.
Ascension? I guess it's still going on. That live once a week show that they have for Silent Hill, where you watch like a 5 or 10 minute episode and then you play like a 60-second mini game, button press kind of quick time event game, and then
Yeah.
the way the
no.
community behaves and performs affects next week's episode, and it's just all depression all the time.
what?
I mean, that's Silent Hill.
Is that,
you know?
oh, is that what did you say? My life? What is it? All depression all the time? No. So what is that on? Where do you play that?
It's at ascension.com, and you don't play anything.
It plays you.
It's weird to explain. They started it back in like I think December or November,
Yeah.
and it's like a weekly episode every like Thursday at 8 p.m. or something like that. So you can watch it live with other people. How they make money off it is you can like bid on these tickets that will affect the way some characters do or do not do something, and the winners of some of those ticket raffles, their like character name will be displayed as cameos in episodes sometimes.
Wow.
Like it's so not entertaining.
Yeah, I've heard it's not very good at all.
It's supposed to be entertainment, and it's not a
so
game.
Not
Yeah.
entertaining.
Again, it's more of that experience. They want you to feel things.
But like
and-
right now
Yeah.
you have 6 hours and 59 minutes left to decide how Astrid will just scroll to the next thing. But you decide what's going to happen to Astrid. What will Rachel do with Faith? And you decide. You have 6 days left to decide. Will she leave her behind? Will she take her away? And they've already pre-written and pre-recorded all the voice acting for whatever
Wow.
option, and whatever option people choose goes through. But since every episode's only like 3 minutes long, it's not like it's a shitload of content.
right.
Can I just get a good Silent Hill game?
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
like straight up, like I
Right.
They're
like
remaking two. They're remaking two. It's
Speaking
okay.
of which, they had a
yeah,
little Silent Hill 2 teaser, the remake that they're doing at the Sony State of Play as well. So if you haven't
Oh,
watched
did
it,
they?
Buck, you should go on YouTube and peep that.
I
That
watched
should be
part
good.
of that one.
I need to
I'm
watch
really-
it.
It should
I'm-
be good.
I'm really interested about the other one too, the one they're making that takes place in the past, takes place in like 1600
Japan.
Japan.
Silent Hill
Yeah.
F.
The dude
Yeah.
that is writing the script for that wrote one of my
Is that right?
favorite animes, When They Cry, Higurashi no Nakokoro ni, which
Oh
is
my
That
like
is
God.
the oh my god! I was trying
Murder
to recall
Groundhog
that
Day.
anime
Yeah.
too. That
Yeah.
is the Raph. That's the anime I was telling you where the lady, like the town is cursed, and they're like one of the things that the cursed people do is like put nails into the joints of all their victims or whatever.
yeah.
And
I own it for
What
a
is this-
Venny
what is
Flex.
it
I
called?
own it on Blu-ray.
That's a rough one.
What is this called?
It's called When the American name is When They Cry. You can borrow it if you wanna
When
watch
They
it.
Cry. Okay,
It
that
is
sounds
it is
interesting.
Groundhog Day with murder. Like there's this group of
Oh,
kids.
yeah.
It's known in this village that that there's this festival that happens every year. But like what happens is like after a couple episodes, it happens and a kid disappears, gets killed, right?
Okay.
And you see it happen, and it's gruesome and gross. It's been a while since I watched it, but then
Gnarly.
fast forward to the very next episode, episode 4, and everybody's okay again. It like Groundhog Days itself. But then what happens is like every 3 to 4 episodes, a different kid dies, a different kid is the murderer, different people get possessed, different things happen. And so it's like watching this murderous Groundhog Day kind of anime with children. There are some intense.
It's very Silent Hill.
Murderous Groundhog
There's
Day
a
anime
scene-
with children.
Video
But if
game
that
game.
guy's writing a Silent
Yeah.
Hill game, I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm about it. I'm about it. You know, any good psychological horror,
Nice.
I'm excited
Yeah.
for it.
Several more announcements we got to cover here. One is because we got Hideo Kojima had your 1/3 of the PlayStation spotlight, but Dave the Diver, very very popular hit indie
Yeah.
game, is coming to PS5, and they're bringing
Oh.
Godzilla with them.
Yeah.
It's not,
Wait, what?
Oh, that wasn't on PS5 already?
No, I don't believe so.
No,
according
no,
to
it
this
wasn't. Wait.
announcement.
Why
Godzilla?
is Godzilla? What?
Well, Godzilla -1 just came out, and
Okay.
it got an
Right.
Oscar nomination. So it's pretty popular.
Well, I wasn't
It's-
detracting from the fact that the Godzilla's amazing, but
Well, if you're inquiring why they're putting Godzilla into
How,
Dave the
I guess?
Diver, I would say it's because it's very popular.
Okay, I guess I wasn't understanding that
How is a better
Godzilla
question.
was going to be in Dave the Diver. Is that what's going on? Godzilla's in Dave the Diver?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, all
I'm
right.
ready because I've never played the game. I've watched some people play it, but I want to play it myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me neither. I've never played it either.
I bet you they add it to PlayStation Extra. You know, the PlayStation exclusive.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I got
so
that.
cool.
I got that.
That would be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that is hugely popular.
do you like swim? Do you swim under Godzilla?
You interact with him in many ways.
No, you can just
Okay.
hang out with Godzilla, eat rice cakes and stuff. It's cool.
Okay.
There's something about
All
fishing
right.
for the
Godzilla, you want to fish?
They always comment on how he lives in the deep sea or whatever, so you probably interact with like fishy.
Hell
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, cute little trailer and the little pixelated Godzilla, and he looks great.
Cool.
Then we've got Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Oh,
Did
boy.
you see this, Buck? You didn't watch any of this, right? Sonic Generations was that like toyetic remake of the OG Sonic. I think it was like Sonic and Sonic 2 or something like this. But so they're making this Sonic Shadow Generations remix game, and they're taking like old chunks. I'm pretty sure these are old chunks of, it looks like Sonic Adventure Battle 2, like where you play exclusively as Shadow, and just like up-resing them to 4K. And it's so funny. The announcement is so funny. Like Sega is
Oh boy.
just absolutely hysterical when it comes to trying to market the edginess of Shadow the Hedgehog.
no.
You know what I mean?
Oh my god, I see it now.
Am I seeing also in this state of play that V Rising is coming to consoles?
It is. It's coming to PS5.
Wow.
Yes.
Before
They
you
ha-
pass up on the Sonic thing, there was also some news this week that Jim Carrey is going to return as Robotnik in Sonic 3.
Yeah, no shit.
So
Ah.
that's
Huh?
that's super cool.
No kidding. Hoyo announces new game, Zenless Zone Zero. Hoyo Verse now has they make Genshin Impact, of course, and
Okay.
Honkai Star Rail.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so now they're making Zenless Zone Zero.
Perfect.
It's got like a cool, like Guilty Gear style look to it. I think they
How,
might
how,
even-
how much longer till we like run out of names for video games?
Never.
Never.
yeah. But and then we have PDP announces new Bluetooth guitar.
I
Which
saw that.
you
Oh, wow.
know is pretty much just for Fortnite.
Yeah, it works with Rock Band too, but yes.
Yeah, it works with Rock Band, that game that so many people are
Don't play
playing that it makes it
Yeah.
necessary to
Rock Band actually just
manufacture a
announced-
new Bluetooth guitar.
They just
Famously
announced
still
their
popular.
last update. They've officially stopped support for Rock Band 4.
There
as
you
in
go.
we
Mm.
all
I'm
had
watching
not
the
stopped
trailer for
using that anyway.
Zenless Zone Zero, and I like the style, actually. This is kind of neat.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, this looks really
About to
cool.
say.
Grungy urban action RPG. One of a kind art style, dynamic music, urban life gameplay, heart pounding action combat.
So it's Persona.
I mean, maybe. Action Persona? I mean, hey, I'll check it out. Hoyo
They've done
games
that
are
too.
free
They
to
did
play.
that
About
one
it.
for the Switch.
I'm about
Yeah, it's
it.
neat.
State of play. We also had the announcement, Judas, which is a new game from BioShock. The guys that made BioShock, I should say. not
Ken Levine,
The
yeah.
company BioShock, Ken Levine. This game looks fucking tight.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh, it's so, I love the style. I love like the personality and character and style, even just in the trailer. Like they 3D printed the the girl's hand back on.
Yeah.
That's
It looks-
crazy.
It's definitely got a Bioshock like feel to the world.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
say this guy. Everyone's, you got one story to tell, and this one is like you watch the trailer for this, and you're like,
Got a
damn,
good
this looks
story.
like some Bioshock shit. You know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean?
does.
It's a bunch of brainwashed people with this incredible
Always
weird.
had like that big, lit up carnival vibe going on.
Yes.
Whether it's like in a dark setting or underground or in
Yeah.
the clouds,
Or in the
it's
sky,
like
yeah.
that big top vibe, and that's so fun.
Yeah, it looks like oh man, it looks
The
But
first
this guy's
Bioshock
game-
is a
cyberpunky kind of almost not cyberpunk, but it's like I don't know the TVs and all the
Right.
I love that aesthetic. That
Yeah.
fucking
It
future
reminds
aesthetic.
me, honestly, System Shock. Like the
There we
it's the
go.
same
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
System Shock, and it's
Good
got that whole vibe to it. I don't know. I love how these games are so. I don't know how to describe it. There's just like a certain not cinematic quality to them, but it's very like he crafts like a whole experience.
Yeah.
Like every cutscene
Yeah.
is just like, oh, you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in the world, and it's very immersive.
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly? Yeah.
God,
Would you
Bioshock is
kindly
so fucking scary.
club me to death with a golf club? Right. Spoilers.
But yeah, I cannot. I want to get access to a PlayStation to play that shit when it comes out. And then just a few more tiny ones here. Team Ninja, haven't heard from them in a minute. Rise of the Ronin.
Oh,
This
fun.
looks like another one of their third-person action games. They did those ones that are like the Souls-like, but Japanese. I can't remember the names of those.
Like
Neo.
Titanium, not them.
They did Neo, I think, is their most recent games. I don't know if
Oh,
you've seen
Neo.
those, but yeah, they're like highly customizable, very hard. Just like they play almost like those Ninja Gaiden games they made back in the day. They're just extremely hard third-person
Yeah.
action games. So they've got this new one coming out called Rise of the Ronin. It takes place in like post arrival of Americans, Japan. And like the trailer shows a guy gliding around with a crazy set of like bamboo wings and whatnot. Looks pretty tight.
Has like those Tenchu vibes, but
Yeah.
with some Ghost of Tsushima setting.
And then we got some more Dragon's Dogma footage. Dragon's Dogma 2. I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody else besides me played the first Dragon's
So wild.
Dogma, but that
Oh,
game
man.
fucking was kick ass.
No, that's a gap in my knowledge.
Yeah, as a Capcom, I want to say almost like 3D brawler RPG. It was super stylized. It was just like severely lacking in the storyline, in my opinion. But yeah, the new one looks really beautiful, and they added more classes, and I can't wait for that. And then Until Dawn is getting a remake / remaster. I never played that game, but that game is pretty popular, and the HD upres looks gorgeous. Looks
Is
like
that
real acting.
the same people that made The Quarry?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
played The
Until
Quarry. It
Dawn,
was good.
Until Dawn is sort of like an interactive horror
Yeah.
movie, and it's got the Brenda Song. Is that her name from
Brenda
Sweet
Song
Life of Zach
is-
Life and Cody?
I think she's in The Quarry actually, but
Oh,
she
is that
might
what
be
it-
in this one too. But
Okay.
they're fun, honestly. It's like playing through your own little like slasher film. Like if you can play it with friends, you can
Brenda
kind of
Song,
play different
like-
characters.
But yeah, that's all. That's pretty much it for all the major announcements from the PlayStation show. Now I just have to get a PlayStation 5,
Yeah.
and I'll be
Don't
set
forget
to go.
Silent Hill.
That new one comes out. To get that new PS5.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
What
this
about
is-
second PS5?
The PS5 2. Wait.
What about
Seven.
PS5 Pro? What about
Slim.
PS5 Slim? What about PS5 Silver? Who knows about
Slim
those?
Pro?
Doesn't he?
Go-
Don't
All
think
right,
he
let's
knows about
move
PS5
on, you
Slim, but-
goofballs, to our first segment here.
Who's the winner? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's us.
All right. So for our first segment of the day, our theme of today is sports. Is games, sports games, games and sports, whatever have you.
Oh,
So
I'm
we're
out.
gonna talk about we're
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about some of our favorite gaming moments, our gaming athleticism moments. Maybe some of our favorite speed runs. Maybe our favorite fighting game moment. Maybe our favorite Counter-Strike kill. So I'll go first.
Kill.
Yeah, headshot.
Yeah, headshot.
So Tekken 8 just came out. So little Majin, is a Tekken 7 player, and if you know anything about him, you know that he plays as an incredibly low tier character, King.
Oh, I love King.
In
Yeah, right? I can too.
2018 specifically, this is the moment that I'm referencing. This is in 2018 Evo. Lil Majin went from the losers bracket, like the bottom of the charts of the whole entire thing, and ended up finishing 4th with King. And this run is just incredibly nasty. I don't really usually give a damn about like competitive fighting games. I got sent this when
Man,
it
this
like
guy's really good.
when it
Yeah,
happened.
he's beating the shit out of him.
When it happened, I got sent this guy this clip from somebody, and I didn't really give a damn about, like I said, about fighting games at all. But I remember watching this, like I think at work, like on a break or something, and just being so incredibly enthralled by his maneuvering. If you know, I guess if you know anything about Tekken,
Right.
King is a grappler character. So his primary mode of damage dealing is through these series of command grabs that he has. And if you know anything about fighting games, they're just like, it's not a very wide move set. You know, you basically have one range if that's your main mode of damage, and that range is incredibly close. Not to mention that specifically in Tekken, it's pretty easy to counter general grabs. You basically just have to hit the arm button that coincides with the predominant arm with that grab. So most pros know how to get out of most grabs. So little Majin here goes up against
Wow.
Eddie Gordo. He goes up against the Jin Kazama. Just really, really good characters played by really, really good players. And he has to just go through a gauntlet of competitors
That's
to
cool.
scrap his way from the losers bracket all the way to 4th. But yeah, I'll have the video overlaying here of some of his gameplay. He's a master. And King is a character that, again, if you don't know Tekken, he's a Spanish wrestler like luchador who wears a leopard mask over his head.
Hell yeah.
And in this particular clip, Little Majin, you know, Tekken 7 is kind of famous for being able to customize your fighter. And Little Majin wears a red cape, and he's got these wrestling pants on, and he's just so bombastic looking. And his moves involve, you know, taking the other characters and throwing them over his shoulder and suplexing them and driving them into the ground and doing, you know, tombstone pile drivers. And his moveset is just totally awesome. And when you like, just the crowd reaction when he perfects people as King is just insane. People go nuts. So yeah, as far as like esports, e-gaming moments, the fighting game community is sort of esports adjacent as of right now. But this streak by Little Majin is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in fighting game.
Yeah,
His
that's
Tekken is
cool.
good.
That's
Yeah, it's
cool.
pretty
I
cool.
love grab characters, especially in Tekken. They're fun.
Me too, and I always want to be them, but they're so hard to master. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
You got, they're
Not very
so
beginner friendly.
no,
No.
not at all.
No,
And
not at all.
I
And Tekken is
suck.
just a giant game of footsies, right? Like it's
Wow.
all about reading your opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tekken notorious for not really having a lot of. It has basically no projectile characters. Okay, Buck, how about yourself? What is your favorite sports game? I need a better word. Can someone help me? What's your favorite Gort's e-sport?
I don't think Gortz is going
Gort's
to catch
moment.
on.
No, I
That
think
sounds like
it's.
something I wear during a workout.
What's your favorite?
Gotta put on my
Gort's?
Gortz.
Competitive gaming,
competitive
I guess?
gaming,
Like,
Even if
elite
it's,
Yeah.
but if it's a
speed running.
solo thing, you know, you could even do that. Your Hall of Fame moments, your Hall of Fame game moments.
go.
Your,
There you go.
yeah, like
Mine's-
a Hall of Fame moment.
Mine's gonna
yeah.
be speed running, and from going back to a GDQ back in 2020, they were here in Orlando, and of course we all went. And I know Ben was there, Brad was there, Venny, I think you were there too.
I was
We
there.
were in the front row of. I sent you guys a link to show there.
Yeah, I'm watching.
2 players, 1 controller, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, blindfolded.
I love
Wait,
Whoa.
what?
I wasn't in the room for this one, but I remember.
All the words that I just said happen on stage in 23 minutes and 39 seconds. Now I don't.
Do they do the whole thing?
They do.
Oh, it's on the same controller. Holy
2
shit.
players, 1 controller. blindfolded Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And the crazy part is it was originally thought that they couldn't beat Mike Tyson blindfolded because of the randomness of his techniques with the same sound effects, but they figured it out.
Wow.
I
That's
watched the
something.
same guy do a single player controller blind a couple years before, and he could do everyone but Mike Tyson because they hadn't figured it out yet. Being in the front row for this was the icing on the cake. Like watching this live was just like, what a feat of human perfection.
This is incredible.
So you were there for this?
I was in the front row.
Wow.
Behind the guy in the
No
red checkered
way.
shirt. I was to his right in the front row, so the front left of the audience for that. So when they pan out to show the audience, when they hug and stuff, you can actually probably see me over on the right there. But dude, I mean, 2-player, 1-controller speedruns are already pretty impressive. Mike Tyson would already be pretty impressive. Let's do it completely based on sound cues.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
It was-
fast
that's
forward this
rad.
right over to the
Yeah, just
Mike Tyson bit.
fast forward to like the 22-minute mark, 22-minute and 30-second mark, which is when they fight Mike Tyson.
Wow.
I think I see you.
Probably. I'm not in the couch right behind them there, but off to the right there. We had front row seats for us. Pretty cool. We sat next to the Super Monkey Ball runner for that too. It was pretty cool. He was a nice dude, and he's done that more than once now.
Oh, I was there when he was sitting with us.
Yeah, we ran into him, and he did this past GDQ. He was there again for that, the one they had like up in the snowy north. But that's my super one.
All right, Raph, go ahead with your favorite video
Well,
game history. movie.
I love space and I love video games, and this combines both of those. So this is actually from a speed run done by, and I shit you not, their name is Dota Teabag. But so this guy was streaming his speed run of Super Mario 64. And he did something. I posted the video in the chat there, but he did something that I don't know a lot of the speedrunning lingo, but from reading the article, I understand that for most speedrunners, what he does is impossible here. He is doing these jumps from platform to platform, and he just straight up teleports up way too many feet up into the air and up to the next platform. And the guy freaks out in the video. He's like, "What the hell was that?" So it turns out that another person watching the stream decided that they were going to go ahead and put out a bounty, $1,000 bounty, to whoever could figure out what the hell this glitch was. Because if they could figure it out, it could
Saves
maybe
time.
potentially make speedrunning easier for this game. It only saved them a handful of seconds, but in speedrunning, a handful of seconds is quite a bit.
World record, yeah.
But it turns out that the only way that this could have occurred is something called a let me see if I can get the right term. Single event upset caused by a solar particle actually passing through his Nintendo 64 while he was doing this. And it flipped one of the little bits of data that determined Mario's jump height
The
for a
zeros
split
and ones.
second. And it teleported Mario up onto the upper platform that saved him a few seconds on a speed run. But
Holy
yeah,
shit.
yeah. If you
How-
watch the video, he
This
just
is like
teleports
a
through.
glitch.
It's so straight up just particles from the sun hitting the upper atmosphere, and it causes them to rain down to Earth, and that's also what causes the aurora borealis. Fun fact. But yeah, it sent a stream of solar particles that hit his N64, and it flipped the bit and made him warp up into the air. And yeah, it's a one in. So the article that I read says it's a 1 in a trillion chance that this would occur.
Holy shit,
That's
that's
historic.
incredible.
How
Yeah.
did they determine that's what caused it?
Science, bitch.
So this is
yeah.
these sort of events are not. I mean, they're uncommon, but they've happened in the past, and it's kind of understood how they work. Like the article I read says, most single event upsets result in hardware malfunctions, requiring devices to be rebooted.
Right.
Planes can fall out of the sky. There was a link on here,
Whoa,
something about
come
an
again?
election accidentally giving thousands of votes to a
Glance
candidate.
over that
This
one.
happened at one time. But yeah, no, they determined that with every set of circumstances, this is possible under certain circumstances, but none of those circumstances occurred. And I mean, I'm talking like, hundreds of people reviewing the footage, and they determined that the only way this could have happened
Files and
is if
shit.
one of the bits got flipped, and the only way that could have happened is a solar particle.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
People smarter
yeah.
than me, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're gonna have to concede to the rest
Honestly,
of the planet on
this
this
is
one.
I don't fully understand the science behind it, but I'll post a link to the article. It's pretty fascinating. But yeah, that's my speed run.
That is fucking crazy.
My sports moment. Just pure luck.
Video game sports.
That's
Yeah.
actually
Okay.
crazy. Wow.
Wow. Can you imagine if there was a football game one day and then like somebody throws a pass and then it just warps 90 yards and everyone just
Yes,
watches
it would be the
what the
equivalent
fuck?
of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a giant gust of wind.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
grabs the
Woo!
ball and flings it 10 yards that way.
Right. Yeah.
And now he caught it
Um,
instead of it being a total whiff.
Incredible. All right, Venny.
This is like feats of live gaming history, like
Right.
what we're talking about.
There we
here.
go.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine, the same GDQ that Buck gave us the Punch Out clip,
Mhm.
and this is one that I was present for. You ever seen those bullet hell games that are like ungodly?
Like Espagaluda or whatever
Like,
it's
you
called.
don't understand how they even do this and don't take a hit. My moment is from Mushihime-sama Futari on the Xbox 360. We watched a guy basically perfect this game, and it kind of goes without saying. Just the amount of fine detail and like fine motor control required to dodge all of these little particles on screen and
Holy
Oh
shit.
my
your
god.
keep your teeny tiny little hitbox, out of the way. It's
Your
just
hitbox is like 1 pixel in that game.
yeah,
No
a
kidding.
1 pixel hitbox in this game. It's nothing short than a feat of perfection. I mean, it's incredible.
What is
Yeah.
Are you
this?
playing
Look at
an
how many
angel?
things are on the screen.
Something like that.
Playing
Yeah.
on an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
And we watched this guy live, and I'll never forget. I've never in the
was nuts.
history of watching anybody play a game ever been on the edge of my seat quite like that. And I'm so pumped that I was able to witness it in person, because
Look at them squinting at the video.
oh
No
my god,
kidding.
Because you can't. Yeah.
Like,
It was
don't
big.
blink.
Oh my god.
This
Yeah,
is
I would agree.
incredible. Like, I mean, just there's so many things on the screen at once, and they're dodging by like I can't even aim a gun with a controller like in a video game. Like,
Right.
I'm
Right.
terrible.
Funny
at
you
that.
say
I
like
can't
don't
imagine
blink.
this.
Like if you blink in that, you're like you're dead. Like
yeah.
You're
that those
playing as an angel here. You've got
Yeah.
beetles,
Yeah.
like golden scarabs.
Yeah,
Like this
Mushihime
game
is
looks
Bug
fucking
Princess.
crazy.
Bug Princess, yeah.
Okay.
And Futari means like 2 people.
Wow, this game looks awesome. Like
It's something.
Oh
what
yeah,
the-
those are all fun, and they're all
And you want to know what's interesting? This fight, the final boss fight, isn't even the super mega secret final boss fight that you
No.
have to perfect the entire game, no hits, no deaths, no nothing. This is like the sub mega boss fight. There's actually one above this.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah. It's something. It
God
really is
dang.
something. God dang.
Wow. All right. Well, if you just listen to us, you're going to have to subscribe to us on YouTube and see those clips that we were just gushing about. Ow. But let's move on to our main segment for the day, our retro roundtable. All right, and we're back. We are back, and we are here to play a kick-ass NES game. There's several versions of this game. I'll get into the history in just a moment. But the game in question is 1987's Tecmo Bowl. Now, I say 1987.
35 years.
Who made
35
Tecmo
years.
Bowl, Mac?
Tecmo. Bandai. Sony.
Tecmo.
Well, isn't Bandai Tecmo?
It's
one?
made
Tecmo.
by
Whatever.
Tecmo. They couldn't. All right. So, originally released as an arcade game in 1987, Tecmo Bowl is a 2-player, but in to be honest, it was originally a 4-player game, football game that doesn't have the license to the NFL, because that had already been purchased by LJN. That was previously purchased by LJN's NFL. That's just they also released a Nintendo game just called NFL. So Tecmo decided to name their game Tecmo Bowl. All right,
Oh,
so the Tecmo Bowl arcade cabinet is a double wide. So it's two screens next to each other, and it's 4-player. The
the game was
sprites
fun.
are
The game
really
was fun.
big. They're nice, like arcade, NES era arcade sprites, so they're better than you'd find at home. And you can only play as 2 teams. There were 2 fictional teams, the Wildcats and there's just like some other, the Wildcats and the
The
Hustlers.
Bulldogs.
Oopie doops.
The NES version allowed 2 players, not 4, to play, and it had 3 modes: 1, 2, and coach. I didn't realize this. I never
Bulldogs.
played the coach
I
mode.
didn't know
the
there was a
Bulldogs.
coach mode.
Yes.
I didn't either.
So, fun fact, there were 2 NES versions released in the US. The first is black and has the gold seal of quality. Eric Dickerson is the running back for the Chargers in that one. And Albert Bentley is a kick returner for Indianapolis. And then the second is white with the gold seal. Albert Bentley is the running back in that game. And then Clarence Burden is the kicker at Indianapolis. And then there's a Famicom. There's actually a Famicom released, I found out, that got like an updated roster a few years later that reflected the actual roster changes in like the 1990 offseason.
What were the change? Well, like what? Oh, that's interesting. Because I was gonna say they released Super Tecmo Bowl, later on for the NES, right? Which is technically a sequel.
There was just another. There's a Famicom reprint, I guess, like version that came out 1 year after that Nintendo release.
That was a Japan thing a lot too. Like the PS1. God, sometimes they'd release the same PS1 game 3 times with just like revisions. Like, oh, you want the newer version, and then it became all the other shit that you get.
They
put
DLC. They put the arcade port of the arcade Tecmo Bowl actually out on the Switch like 4 years ago.
Oh, wow, really?
So you can play arcade Tecmo Bowl. It's Arcade Archives is what they're called.
Oh, no way.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So, yeah, Tecmo couldn't get the NFL license, but they did obtain the rights to almost all of the player names. And it is almost all. There are some. The QB for Cleveland's name is just QB. But they got the rights to a lot of the stats for those players that they got the rights to the likeness to. And they got the rosters for the team like that. I guess is its own separate license, the stats and the rosters.
Yeah, there was
so
a whole
Tecmo
lot of
Bowl,
names I didn't recognize when I was playing, honestly. I'm not a sports guy, so.
Tecmo Bowl has 12 teams, each equipped with 4 plays. Most teams have 2 running plays and 2 passing plays. The exceptions are San Francisco and Miami, who have 3 passing plays and 1 running play. Because if you know, it's Dan Marino and Joe Namath or whatever. Or who's the San Francisco?
And they were throwing sports ballers, right?
Yes, and they were throwing
Montana.
sports. Joe Montana, thank you.
I know sports ball.
And so, there are famous passers, and so they have 3 passing plays and 1 running play. So AFC teams include LA Raiders, Indianapolis, Miami, Denver, Seattle, Cleveland. So all the teams are just referred to by their their location.
Because then because there's no logo. It doesn't have like the Oakland Raiders
this
logo,
is just
right?
Washington, the Washington mind your own damn businesses.
Yeah, I got like the Miami Porpoises or something like that.
The Miami Mahi Mahis.
Yeah.
In the Washington, in the NFC, you got Washington, San Fran, Dallas, New York City, Giants, obviously, Chicago, and Minnesota. So a couple notable things about this game. Bo Jackson is absolutely busted. He plays for the Raiders in this game, and it's actually kind of funny. There's a bit of a hullabaloo about this. So, ESPN, ESPN, and what would you call it when ESPN and US Today write an article about how Bo Jackson in this game is, quote, the greatest video game athlete of all time?
I call it fucking amazing.
It's ridiculous.
He's so broken.
That's the
It was the
silliest shit
beginning
I've
of
ever
like you had
heard.
to ban a character or a team because he was broken. He could outrun every defender on the opposite team.
Okay, we all know how much Cleveland loves Tecmo Bowl, so let's start playing. I'm the Raiders. I'm Bo Jackson, and hopefully he'll show
You
up.
could just rent. You see the videos out there where he does the zigzag and then he loops back around and he fucks with them and he comes back through the defensive line and then he runs for a touchdown.
Lawrence Taylor is also on the Giants in this game, and he is also notably broken as well. But being broken on the defense does not give you the edge like being broken on the offense does. But yeah, I guess they reached out to Bo Jackson. I think Buck was telling me they reached out to tell him, like, did you know that you're famous like in this video game realm for being one of the, fastest, strongest, most unbeatable characters of all time? And he was just like, I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I think he said like, yeah, I've heard about it, but I don't know. And they're like, do you know why you're so good? Like, oh,
Because in real life I'm really, really good.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's what I would say if I was him.
Let me guess. Maybe it's because I'm one of the best athletes of all time. I would probably
he did
also
play
make me good
baseball
in
and
this game.
basketball. I mean, yeah, baseball and football at the same time. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
was on the Royals too. I
He's,
know sports ball when I was a kid.
I honestly, I wish I knew which. I think he played for probably also for the Oakland, so the A's.
No, I think he played on the Royals, and I think Jerry Cram was one of his coaches.
If we're wrong, I'll edit this out and we'll see what a genius is. But anyhow, so the game mechanic, the main game mechanic of Tecmo Bowl.
Nope, I'm right.
Is that correct?
He played on the Las Vegas Raiders, Kansas City Royals. Yep.
Perfect.
I know sports ball before the age like of 14 when I stopped giving a shit.
So the way you play Tecmo Bowl is you have the aforementioned 4 plays in front of you. And if you're the offense, you have to select one of those 4 plays and then obviously execute it. So the passing plays, basically you hike the ball and then you have to go through each receiver one at a time using one of the buttons before you throw the ball. It's kind of like, I guess, in real life football, the QBs go through their check down. Like you look at this guy first. If he's not open, go to this guy. So he progresses down the line. And then if you have a run play, they'll hand you the ball in whatever direction the run play, if it's, down the middle, if it's off to the right tackle or whatever, left tackle. And as defense, all you have to do is try to guess which play you think your opponent is going to do.
Becomes like rock, paper, scissors.
So, so you don't have to know shit about sports. You just if you're playing the Dolphins and they're really far away from their end zone, you can probably guess they're going to do one of their pass plays. Obviously, they have 3, so then it just becomes guessing which one. But if you pick the play that is the correct play, the play that they called on offense, then it basically just puts your defenders in perfect position.
You're just going to erase them.
What?
You're just going to erase them. That's what'll happen. You just like everybody is covered, everyone else on the opposite team.
Right. So yes, that is correct. You erase them. That's very strange.
Honestly, as someone who does not know anything about sports, I'm still terrible at this game. Not very good at it, but it was a lot of fun.
It's super duper fun. So I've been yammering. Buck, I would like to get your thoughts on Tecmo Bowl as the retro game master.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think about Tecmo Bowl,
So
please.
here at Retro Game Treasure, people always like ask this kind of question because we have a lot of our advertisements, no sports at the top, because you get to pick your genres, right? So you can get sports if you want sports. But the bottom line is like I'm a gamer too. So when I set up the service, there is a big difference between NHL 2K and Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
Right? One is what we call a real sports game, and what we call like a fun sports game.
Mhm.
And so those fun, not realistic sports, those are fun games that a lot of us play. And I hearken that back to Tecmo Bowl because Tecmo Bowl is a really, really early great example of graphics don't make the game. The gameplay just has to be fun and mostly balanced. Bo Jackson, I'm looking at you. In order for it to be fun for 2 people to couch co-op the game, right? It's not about the graphics. It's not about how good it looks. It's the fact that this is just fun to play with our friends. And so that's the same reason why we do the same thing. If you want a sports simulator, so you want to play like a real baseball game because you want to play, as Jose Canseco, Ninja Turtles reference, then you can that's what you want. You want a real sports game with like the simulation aspect. If you just want fun sports game, I want to play Mario Tennis, or Mario Golf. Like those are fun couch co-op, play with kids. Total polar opposite, right? And this one almost like blurs that line, like it's real sports, but it plays like just a fun, balanced game, not a real sports simulation kind of bullshit.
It's
10-yard
like
fight. 10-yard fight for the NES was another football game for the NES, and I had that too as a kid. That played much more like there wasn't nearly as much fun. That played more like a precursor to like a Madden or some of that other crap. Joe Montana.
Plus, what I was going to mention is like the distinction between like Madden and like NFL Blitz. Like Blitz was more of an arcade fun sort of game as opposed to
this was
Madden.
very much so a precursor to Blitz. Like Blitz took this formula and to put the NBA Jam twist on it, right? It's the same company. That's what they did. But they looked at football and said, "How do we do that with football?" And they went, "Well, you ever played?" I guarantee you, someone internally went, "You ever played this football game before? Like it's just fun." And Blitz had the same choose your play thing, and there were more plays per team, but still not that many, and you had a little more control over it. But they did that same kind of thing,
And you had big head mode, so
and all that fun to it as well too. That was what made Blitz, just like Tecmo Bowl, fun. Less realism makes it more fun.
Yeah,
honestly,
there's
the
only
sports
10
games, the less real, the more fun, in my opinion.
There's only 10 characters on the field in Tecmo Bowl at any time. If you'll
9,
notice
I think,
for the Nintendo one.
So it's even less.
It's less than the 11 anyhow, but it doesn't really matter because, like Buck said, it's more of like it's a guised as a football game. Because I will say this, nothing feels better than running an interception back for a touchdown in Tecmo Bowl. When you catch an interception in Tecmo Bowl, it goes woo, 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 and makes this like crazy alarm, and oh man, you're playing next to your friend because the cords are only this long on the Nintendo, and you're just talking shit. You're like, oh, and it's
have you ever played Double Dribble for the NES? Like sports games in general, unless you really like sports, it has to have that aspect of fun to it, or it doesn't have that longevity. It's only good for so long.
What's your favorite thing about Tecmo Bowl specifically?
It kicked off like that really great couch co-op kind of thing. Like there weren't really fighting games on the NES, right? We didn't really get fighting games until the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only real couch co-op games were like the earliest beat 'em ups.
Double Dragon.
But Double Dragon for the NES was take turns.
That's true.
You didn't even get to play two-player with your friend.
We
the
always
Master System version. The what?
A lot of people forget that. Like until you reminded me, I forgot that Double Dragon 1 was not two-player simultaneous.
Yeah, you're right.
It was a sprites on screen issue. I think it's the same reason why Tecmo Bowl only has 9 players on each team. It was a sprites on screen issue. It would slow down. Double Dragon already has slowdown and what do they call it? Scanning issues or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, big time.
But the Sega Master System had 2-player simultaneous, which is the same as the arcade game. When they brought Double Dragon to the NES, they had to take that out. So my point there is that there was not a lot of couch co-op stuff. For me, I didn't care too much about sports, but the fact that it was something you could play with your friend and it was enjoyable, it was fun, that was what made it stand out. It kind of launched some of that with some of the sports. I think at that point some of the sports started to take a split because you ended up with, regular NBA basketball game, but you ended up with Bill Lambier's combat basketball over here, right? That was much more that was not that great of a game, but it's a good example of how they started to split and go, can we explore less realistic sports and more fun sports stuff? And it probably ended up helping birth NBA Jam.
Tecmo Bowl, I would say it's if you Google it, it's very lauded for being one of the best games of all time, period, which is funny. And I think if I had to drill down on what feels so good about Tecmo Bowl, and I think that there are other people that you'll find that say this too, it's the reflection of the different stats of the players. So in regards to Bo Jackson running faster than everybody, every character has this. Sports games at this time sucked. You need to understand. Most of
Yeah.
them were hot garbage.
Mm.
And player differentiation, like having a player on the Red Wings play different than a player on the, was like not a thing that they had really.
Yeah.
Usually it was just like everyone is the same. You
Or ice
understand?
hockey. You had the skinny guy, the
Right.
little guy, and the fat guy.
But Tecmo Bowl did the best job of making all the players feel different
Yeah.
and making your play book or whatever like a super important thing and aspect of the game. To me, that's what you'll often find me comparing. Also, one thing I want to comment: you'll often find me comparing twin stick shooters to Tecmo Bowl. So twin stick shooters are older than Tecmo Bowl, but there is something about the momentum of the character movement in Tecmo Bowl that feels really, really good.
Like a dude
Like
running.
a guy running. This sounds
Yeah.
simple. It sounds like you know what I mean. But I swear to God, play Tecmo Bowl, and when you hit a hole in a line, like in an offense or in a defensive line, and you break it and you
Mhm.
break the run, it
Yeah.
feels so. You don't have to know anything about sports. It's like more like tag. You know
It's
what I
that
mean?
threading the needle. You know, threading
Yeah.
the needle feels really good. Just slipping in and then just running past them and then, making that touchdown.
One of the games that like I said, I always compare this to is Vampire Survivors. It's that same effect. It's that you have that huge crowd and there's a little tiny gap, and if you can
Oh.
just shoot through it, you'll be free and you'll be good to go. And that's what it feels like when you're Bo Jackson and even if you don't pick the right play, there sometimes you can make the wrong run play like work, and you'll just hit it just right, and someone will go left and you'll go right, and it just is the best feeling retro game in my opinion, honestly, for the
Oh no, I
NES.
had Vampire Survivors in the back of my mind the entire time that I was playing
Yeah.
this. Like, because you had
Interesting.
mentioned that last time, and I was like, man, like I'm not sure how that could be, but it really is. It
There's a bunch of
feels
shit
like
on screen,
you're-
and I got to thread the needle every time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Playing on the defense, you can take control of the characters on defense. So playing as like a corner and trailing a guy on his route and like cutting it early to intercept the ball,
Mhm.
that also feels good. You got to press a button as the ball gets to you to catch it.
Mhm.
So nothing crazy too complex. It's just a heads up thing. But man, doing a big touchdown dance in the end zone when the Oakland Raiders score, and it feels very good. And
I wish
the
I
couch
was.
co-op it to this day still feels good.
Honestly, I wish I was
Yes.
good enough at this game to experience that. Look, my thoughts with this game can be summed up with one sentence. I said it earlier, and I don't know who this Mark Allen guy is, but fuck him for scoring on me so much. Like, I don't know who Marcus Allen is, man, but he kept scoring touchdowns on me.
Sports
It's a
ball.
fantastic game.
Sports ball, yeah.
To summarize my thoughts, if you have a Nintendo and you've never played Tecmo Bowl, or you don't have Tecmo Bowl because you're not a sports person, it's not like it's not like the MLB baseball where you're like, how do I make them run the bases? Like, what is even happening? You're like, I can't even. Jesus Christ, how do I actually get the ball to go where I want to go? This is so much simpler.
Yeah.
It sounds good. It's super fun game.
Try that, or
Very.
Super Tecmo Bowl, or Tecmo Super Bowl for the Super Nintendo.
For the Super Nintendo Super
They made
Bowl
three. They made 3 Tecmo Super Bowls, I think, for the Super Nintendo.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So if you subscribe to Retro Game Treasure, maybe try to score yourself a copy of Tecmo Bowl, eh? But let's move on to our final segment. Let's do our what else you got.
Hey, our ratings are going up.
This week, I've got a couple. I do want to mention that I've been keeping up with my New Year's resolution, which is to play Fortnite.
I've seen him doing it.
I was
Fancy
afraid.
boy.
It's
afraid of
fun, y'all.
So how's
I'll-
Peter
I'll-
Griffin doing?
Dude,
I killed his ass. Fucking killed his fucking Peter Griffin ass. Fucking
yo, that
shot him
game
with a gun.
looks insane. Like, I
It's-
had no idea
Yeah.
how extensive and how just big
Yeah.
it's gotten.
Yeah,
I think I mentioned it on that episode when you
something.
talked about your New Year's resolution. I don't play it, but those devs don't sleep.
No.
Man,
it's a
so-
content farm, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So to just when you open Fortnite, y'all, it looks like HBO Max or YouTube or like a streaming service. Like, there's so many game modes that they have to categorize them and then present them to you as a series of tabs. Like, there's little
It's true.
thumbnails for each
Menu
one.
vomit.
I opened it up and I was
Yeah,
like,
played it in
look
yours.
at this. To my roommates, I was like, this looks like Peacock. Like this is like
Yeah.
this. There's so and there's like ones that are like you would expect, where it's just like capture the flag mode presented by the Fortnite team, battle royale mode presented by the Fortnite team. But then there's like 2022 meme mode, and the thumbnail that is on Fortnite is like Pepe the Frog with a bunch of legally protected IP characters, just like in the thumbnail. Like I was just like, whoa, how is this? What is happening in Fortnite? This is insane.
Nobody knows, Mac. That's the charm of Fortnite.
That's-
It's the WTF is this every time you open it. It's like YouTube. You got your little YouTube dashboard with all the content they want to serve to you ready to go in your Fortnite
And
game.
that's
true.
actually
Yeah.
very astute and actually like more like nobody also knows how YouTube works for the most part. They're like, I think the algorithm's like, it's like there was enough
They
data
do. They
there.
know.
Well, they know, of course, but there was enough data there for it to be like the Fortnite portal. Yo, it's
Yeah.
not just Fortnite
Yeah.
anymore.
They treat it, but you hit the nail on the head. They treat it as such. Like
Yes.
it is a Netflix.
Yes, they do.
for them.
Absolutely. They absolutely do. It's a
They have
free
forgot-
service to
seasons and
download.
everything.
Yep.
That they have a what's that horror mystery? Oh Jesus!
Among
where you
Us?
play as Among Us. Fortnite's got an Among Us mode in it.
Yeah.
It
By
does.
the way, yep. I mean,
That
I think
came
it's like
out
a fan made one or
like
something, but it's like
3 weeks after Among Us became popular,
Ah.
they developed and added one. And again, it was like these poor devs, they don't sleep.
there's like
Their
a
boss said, "This game's popular, put it in our game." Okay, boss.
there's a Prime Energy battle arena that where you're just fighting in a big pile of Prime Energy drinks. And I was
Oh my
like, this
God.
is so crazy.
It's
I was like,
it's like it's
you know
like
what?
peak cringe zoomer.
Yes.
You know what? I don't
Yes.
I see my kid playing it and I don't dishearten them from any of it, because it's no different than like the cereal commercials and the toy commercials that they crammed down our throat as a kid.
It's
Oh,
true.
yeah,
There is no
absolutely, 100%.
difference between
Right.
these two things. It's just a different medium to get it to them.
Perhaps, yeah. But I played 2 matches, won one of them because I think they put you against NPCs in the first match. Because I was killing people, going, "There's no way this is a person. I suck ass at this. Like, there's no way."
There's a
was-
guy on the other end that's like, "Oh, I suck ass at this."
Why'd I buy this Peter Griffin skin for $15? but that was only 2 rounds, so I didn't get that much exposure to that. But I did play a new game. I played Brotato.
Oh my God.
I watched him play some of
Brotato.
this.
I've
Brotato
watched
is
my brother-in-law
awesome.
play this.
I had heard about it from several different video game news sources. It's published by a company called Blobfish. It is
A guy named Blobfish.
it is a single stick shooter, much like Vampire Survivors. So you play as a potato, but it looked like an egg.
Why does that matter?
I'm just saying, if you look at the game and you go to play it, you'll be like, Brotato, that's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad asset.
Bro,
you use there."
ego, more like it.
Yeah, fucking. But yeah, you play as a little egg guy. You play as one of like 6 dozen egg guys, honestly. But it's a roguelike battle arena single stick shooter game. So between waves of combat, you get to upgrade with this currency that you get from the enemies as they drop it as they die, and you can attach up to 8 guns, I believe it is, or 6 guns. Yeah, it's 6 guns. You can attach up to 6 guns to your Brotato.
Who knew
at any
eggs had
time.
so many hands?
Yeah. So there's like knives and guns and clubs that you can attach, and they all just swing wildly. The whole game looks like a really bad like Newgrounds.com like game, like the art style
You
itself.
just
Now
dated
that's saying
yourself.
something. Holy
all
smoke.
the sound effects are super. When Buck was like, it sounds like all the sound effects are just made by some guy in his garage. Like it's
Kitchen. They all sounded like kitchen sound effects, like utensils,
like a
and
water
drops of
drop.
water.
Like, yeah, it's,
Like
it's so
he's
funny.
making noises with
Everybody
his mouth
just
into the
shut up.
microphone
I need
for
to
sound
record the
effects.
fork dropping.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It sounds janky. It looks janky. It plays janky, but it's fun. It's super duper fun.
Oh, like Tecmo Bowl.
There's
Yeah.
relics that you can get for every run, basically, that do extra things. But then you unlock as you play more brotatoes to play as, and the brotatoes will have built-in like attribute bonuses. So like there's one that's better at shooting, but like absolutely cannot do melee combat. There's one that gets extra experience points, but at the the detriment of not being able to collect as much money in between rounds. Um, so it's on Game Pass. Is where I played it because my ass.
Because of course it is.
But it's on Steam and everything else. It's on Nintendo Switch as well. But and it's not that expensive. But little indie fun with Brotato if you want to just zone out and play a game where you don't have to. Again, you do not have to point your attacks. All of your guns just auto shoot at the closest possible enemy. And so you just do that bobbing and weaving. It's just another one of those games where you're bobbing and weaving and you get that sweet, sweet boost of serotonin. And whenever you fucking slip through the cracks just right, baby.
I'm surprised as to how much I like that type of gameplay
Me
because
too.
I picked up Vampire Survivors like a week ago or so, and I'm having a blast with it.
I was leaving MagFest and I was like, oh, this Giga Wrecker game I've been looking at for a long time is on sale for like $4. Or I could buy 2 Vampire Survivor expansions. Vampire Survivors
so
it
much
is.
in each one. That's so funny. All right, Buck, what else you got this week?
I finally decided, that's been on my watch list on Netflix forever. I finally decided to watch the American Gladiators documentary.
Yes.
Oh shit!
Yo, it made me go dig this bad boy out of the warehouse and play me a little American Gladiators on the NES.
Wow.
Nice.
NES.
Wow.
NES ones.
The one but good benefit of having all these games at my disposal is, at least temporarily, I have all these games at my disposal. So I went out in the warehouse like, oh, yoink, it's not the best game, but everybody loves a good joust every now and then, right?
Hey.
Is that is that how it plays? Like Joust? Is that
No, it has all the not Joust like the video game, Joust like the event from American Gladiators.
Right.
Where they stand on the pedestal.
Of course, Joust from American
the
Gladiators.
Darth. Yeah, everybody knows it was in Urkel and everything. It's in everything that they had.
It was in Urkel.
But there was a whole episode of Family Matters where they did American Gladiators.
Yeah.
I remember
That was so cool because I had forgotten how much I love that show. And again, if you guys don't know, we're Orlando crew. Back in the mid '90s, for like 4 months, we had an American Gladiators dinner show in Kissimmee, which is the neighboring town to where I live and where Mac lived at the time too. The ill-fated, I think it's a church now. The ill-fated dinner show for that. But I learned, like, just seeing them. I mean, American Gladiators was a great show, especially in its heyday. So one, it was just cool to like see that nostalgia of all that fun stuff, like the Eliminator to that. It was this whole show is obviously the precursor to Guts, which did way better than American Gladiators for Nickelodeon. But at the height of American Gladiators, it was like on fire. It was so great to see like the early episodes. Like Gemini and a couple others were gladiators almost the whole time since the beginning. And they were like, we affectionately call those first 13 episodes the Dark Ages. What? And it's like, because they had no medical staff on site. We had no padding. We didn't even have helmets on as gladiators. We had no padding. We were just wearing these skimpy leotards.
Yeah.
And nothing. And they hadn't figured out all of the events. Like they had only just like in the garage, one guy's garage, like looked at it and said, "This is kind of a fun idea." They tried this, or they saw one of them.
What if we threw shit at you? Okay,
right.
we can throw some shit at me.
So there was a David Letterman skit that one of them saw where David Letterman wore an all Velcro suit and jumped off a trampoline onto a wall and stuck himself on the wall. And one of the guys said, "Boy, that's a great idea. We put the contestant in a Velcro suit, we hang them by their shoulders, and the gladiator just tries to push them to the wall to stick them in this wall." And the one guy goes, "Surprisingly enough, I have no idea how physics work." The guy that's picking up the games, and he goes, "It turns out if there's no support on the legs, the Velcro suit will not stick to the Velcro wall." So the video you see of this, which is just like smackdown high 8 camera for the pilot, is literally just the gladiator pushing this contestant into a wall over and over again because they won't
killing them.
They won't stay killing them. There was one where
I'm not sticking. Please stop.
There was one where
won't
That's
stick.
what it looked like. I saw
there's a
this
trampoline, and the gladiator. There's a bunch of foam bits on the trampoline, and the gladiator's jumping on the trampoline, and the contestant has to reach onto the trampoline to grab the foam bits for points. But the kicker is, the contestant is also rigged up in a harness, and if the gladiator jumps high enough and grabs a ring, it would pull the contestant away from the trampoline temporarily. Unfortunately, when they untemporarily came back, they would full force slam like their hips into the metal frame of the trampoline on the way back. And they're like, we had one lady where we did that. She didn't come back the next day. Like contestants getting knocked out, gladiators getting hurt. And if they got hurt, they didn't give a shit who they were. They just kick them off the show. Oh, you tore your ACL? Sorry, you're fired.
You don't have the fucking what it takes to be a fucking gladiator.
And then they did the nationwide tour where they like went all around to all the different places and stuff, and it's like that was just a clusterfuck for all. They're like, we're all just bros that are bodybuilders trying to make a name for ourselves in Hollywood. So we get off the show and we just go get onto the bus and drink and party, and it was like the greatest story of a bunch of Schwarzenegger wannabe pros, and this is how they had to do it.
That's awesome.
Man, the 90s were a wild
What was the name of the movie?
Oh man, Muscles and Mayhem, the untold, unofficial biography of the American gladiators.
It was a miniseries.
Nice.
It
It's
was
a miniseries,
it was like 5 or
okay.
6 episodes.
Where'd you watch it?
Awesome. Netflix. It's on
All right.
Netflix. It's been on there for a while. It's been out for like a year or two, but I just
You
finally went,
heard
you know
it here, folks.
I was resurfacing some discs in the Retro Game Treasure warehouse, and I decided I'd pop this on.
Nice.
All right, Raph, what else you got?
Well, I guess I've got a couple of things. One leads into one. So I was gifted a copy of Enshrouded, the new survival
yes.
game
How
that's
is it?
Kind of blowing up. Okay, so here's the deal. I do not have a very good graphics card apparently because I had a huge problem trying to get this game to run on my computer. I finally got it running today. But I guess that leads into my other thing. Well, it's good. It's good. I'm enjoying it. If you like survival games, if you like the whole like world crafting kind of games, it's fun. It's like Valheim, but instead of being able to be attacked anywhere, there's like certain areas that have a fog that are filled with monsters, but the fog kills you. It slowly kills you. So you can only be in there for a few minutes at a time, and you have to do certain things inside of there. I haven't explored it too much yet, just because I've only played for maybe about an hour. It took me about 3 days to get it working. But it leads me into the other thing is that the other night I was so frustrated with the goddamn game that I ended up just going over to YouTube and looking for YouTube horror channels, just because sometimes that's a rabbit hole that I'll go through. And I found a series called The Oldest View by somebody named Kane Pixels. This guy, I guess, made the original Backrooms videos that ended up kind of like canonizing the whole Backrooms thing. But man, I got lost like in this. It's about 4 videos, and it scared the shit out of me. You know, like the third video in it is the really good one. It's about 45 minutes long or so. I'll share a link to the playlist in here. But man, it's good stuff. If you like analog horror, if you like YouTube horror, you know, like short films or whatnot, it's worth a look see. It's cool as hell. It's about a guy getting
The look-see?
yeah, like this guy like goes into a bunker that he finds in the middle of the woods to explore it. He's urban exploring, and then when he gets inside, he finds an abandoned mall inside of a bunker and ends up wandering around and stuff happens, but it's good stuff.
What's it
I
called?
want to say it's called The Oldest View by Kane Pickles. I'll post up like a link to the actual playlist in our chat here. It's pretty cool though.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it's not much this week, but that's my what else you got. I got the shit scared out of me by a mall.
I love
Fun.
YouTube horror.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It's worth a look see.
I'll peep this later.
Oops.
Oh,
I
I've
use- I
seen
u- I
this
use
fucking
look-see
shit.
again. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Wow, nice. All right. Mr. Venicor, what else you got?
Not a whole lot. I already mentioned that. I played the new Silent Hill. Like the moment I heard it dropped, I started downloading it. I texted Buck yesterday. I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is bad." In a like terror, like
Yeah, in a bad way. Not bad in a good way.
yeah. Other than that, and Buck's even more ahead of me on this, but I mean, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth dropped on Friday of last week.
That's right.
So he and I have been knee deep into that.
All Hawaii all the time.
And it's aloha. It's
How is
honestly
that?
a fantastic game. It was just announced, I believe this morning or last night, that they broke 1 million copies sold worldwide, which is amazing.
Yeah,
Which is
for that
amazing for
series,
the
yeah.
Yakuza team. That's incredible.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
the Ryuga Gotoku team, hats off. You guys deserved it. You made a wonderful, wonderful game, and I can't wait to keep playing more. Like a Dragon,
Agreed.
Infinite Wealth. And for those who are not too familiar with the Yakuza series, to my knowledge, I think it's still going on, but Like a Dragon Part 1, which is Yakuza 7, it is on sale. I saw it on PlayStation for like
Mhm.
$11.99. It was on a
Oh, no way.
massive sale.
Dang, wow.
So is Man Who Erased His Name. If you want to
Yes.
see the lead
Yes,
into
they are
this game.
Wowie,
They are
wow.
both on sale. I can look at Steam right now because I believe it was even on sale at Steam also. Let's check Like a Dragon. No, it's not on sale on Steam. I know it's on sale right now on PlayStation, but if you're a PS4, PS5, this would be a great time. Part 7, which is Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon 1 in the US. It's the one with Ichi on the front and he's got the bat on his shoulder, big crazy
Big
hair. You
fro,
can't miss
yeah.
it. It's Yakuza Like a Dragon. And wonderful entry point to the series. You can start with 7.
Mhm. It's the first
I really
turn-based one.
want to check this series out because I've heard it referenced a lot when talking about like Persona 5, as far as like how rich and like dense the world is.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I love Persona
Extremely.
5, so I
Yes.
don't know. This seems like
Speaking
it'd be right
of-
up my alley.
Speaking of Persona and Like a Dragon, make sure to tune in to the end of this month, on February 23rd. We're going to be turning Japanese. We're going to be playing Persona 3 and Like a Dragon, or rather,
course
we
you're
are
gonna be playing
playing them now. We're going to be reporting on them for you. So if you want to play along, go ahead and download that first Like a Dragon, beat it like a pulp, then get the new one here, Infinite Wealth. All
Good
right.
stuff. Good
That
stuff.
is it. That is it. Another episode in the books, gentlemen. I'd like to thank you for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe to us on YouTube or Spotify, please. You can also help us directly by giving to our Patreon at patreon.com/thegtp. Join us next week where we'll be discussing dating game gems for Valentine's Day, baby. And we might get another little visit from the king of video games because
Oh my god, I can't wait.
The
I
King's
hear
gonna come back.
he's-
Do we have a budget for that?
I hear he's available. And we're also going to take a hot steam. And Valentine's Day, hot steam. Who knows? Maybe I'll do something crazy.
Anything could happen.
Maybe I'll play a crazy game for Valentine's Day. We want to thank Crunkwitch for the use of our theme song, Clash of the Droids. We love them. Please go listen to them anywhere you find music on the internet. And I personally would like to direct you to RetroGameTreasure.com, owned and operated by Buck, aka the Mega Buck himself. It is a subscription service that sends you bespoke boxes of video games every month, people. Every major console from Atari 2600 to the PS4 generation. These are tailored to your collection. You won't get a game you can't play. You won't get a game you already have, okay? Retro Game Treasure. Obsessed with video games since 1985. My name is Max Stein, and I love the Game Treasure podcast. It's so bad.
It's
So
bad.